We have to ask you about the March for Women. It was on Sunday, just past. Every single year, I think it just gets bigger and bigger. People are now talking about it on an international level. It must be something you feel quite proud of at this point.
Well, I think that Helen Pankhurst from CARE has been a tremendous force on organising the CARE March for Women. And I've been marching for the last 6 years with them. And I must tell you that before, whenever I gave a speech, I talked about women embarking upon a non-violent revolution, and I felt disappointed and I felt outraged when I had to prepare the speech and I had to read the statistics and see how many women have been raped in this country, how many women are victims of sexual assault, of domestic violence, and how few are brought to justice of the culprits. But this year, there was something else. There was hope. I think that the Me Too campaign, that the time is up, or the UN campaign, the time is now, have really made an enormous difference, and a difference in the way we felt, and the difference on the courage of women on speaking out. Enough of being raped. We had enough of being victims of domestic violence. We had enough of being discriminated. We had enough of the gender pay gap. We had enough of not being, of not having achieved gender equality. And I think we will, and we have to be determined, and we have to fight for it, and we have to fight for it for our daughters, for our granddaughters, for, you know, for each one of us.
I mean, obviously there's no such thing as bad publicity, as they say, and the publicity behind the movement, you're absolutely right. Do you feel slightly disappointed that it came out sort of post-Harvey Weinstein, rather than women going, you know what, this has been going on for centuries? I kind of felt that it wasn't till it hit Hollywood or affected Hollywood that, not you, you've been doing this for decades, but there were certain people that suddenly got very animated about women's rights when they hadn't been before.
But I will tell you one thing that is not just that. Whenever I was giving those speeches, I was upset and I was saying we should be thousands, we should be hundreds of thousands, we should be millions fighting for gender equality, for our rights. But it's not just that. Yes, it's true that the Harvey Weinstein and the fantastic article in the New York Times played an instrumental role, but it's social media. Because, yes, there were famous women and there were Hollywood women who were, you know, at the forefront of the Me Too, but women in social media. That's why I use social media every single day, and that I don't sleep enough, because I listen to women and I listen to average women and girls who have been victims of rape and who have been victims of sexual assault, who have no justice, who are upset because there is no accountability for those who commit those crimes. That is making a huge difference. And does that sort of get,
that stuff, does that get into your head like a worm when you hear those stories? I mean, is that why you probably don't sleep? I'm not sure I would.
I mean, you know, my mum, I was born in Nicaragua. My mum was a divorced woman who married when she was 18, and she didn't have a career, and she was discriminated because she was divorced, because she was a woman, and because she had to work. And so since I was a little girl, I saw gender discrimination. I said to myself, I will not be discriminated because I'm a woman. And then, of course, I got married into a marriage, and I'm not going to go into it, but where gender discrimination was at the heart of that world. And then I have...
What you mean, because you became known as somebody's wife?
As somebody's wife? Or not just that. I'm talking in general about what it represents. But I know, and I have traveled, and I have spoken to hundreds and to thousands of women raped in Bosnia and raped in many countries in Latin America, and women who didn't obtain justice. So that warmth is in me, is part of me.